Well, things haven't exactly gone to plan.
Before we get to talking about our failed dreams,
it is time to do a Trash to Travel update. And I know you're thinking, what is Trash to Travel? It has been months since we've done an update on Trash to Travel. And you're probably thinking at this point, is that even happening anymore? So we thought today would be a good opportunity for us to go through what Trash to Travel is, go through some sales that we've had up to date, and give you an update on the actual van build. We'll take you out there and show you where we're up to and what lies ahead for this whole journey. So without further ado, let's get into what we've actually sold on the Trash to Travel sales over the last sort of 2 to 3 months, and give you an update of where we actually are on that scratch mat and how far that means we can potentially travel in the future. Alright, the first item that we have sold from the Trash to Travel trove is this Psychology Women's Secret Garden long sleeve. It's like a cycling zip-up jacket essentially, and we ended up selling this for about $60 on an offer. As you can see here, really bright patterns, great little brand to be keeping an eye out for. Psychology we don't see a lot around, but you definitely want to be keeping an eye out for other brands like SMS Santini and Castellian Cycling because they generally sell pretty quick. All right, the second item that we have flipped from the Trash to Travel is these Mammoth women's leather Gore-Tex hiking boots. We ended up taking an offer of $50 on those ones, out the door reasonably quickly in the end. Definitely a hiking brand to be keeping an eye out for alongside brands like Kain, Searle, and a few others out there that do really well. This is a great little brand to keep an eye out for, Elk, and this is a V-neck organic cotton jumper in a women's style. $44.95 that one ended up selling for. Definitely keep your eye out for some of the Elk range. We've actually sold a few Elk pieces over the last sort of 3 to 6 months, so definitely keep your eye out for that brand. Now here's a brand that you guys definitely would be aware of if you've been watching the channel. It is Gorman. We love finding Gorman, and this piece here sold pretty quickly. Jazzy found this one here and it ended up selling for about $42 on an offer. Jazzy took some great photos of this, and you definitely want to be keeping an eye out for that little Gorman tag when you're out in the thrift store because some of their stuff goes for really great money. While we're on the Gorman vibes, we have this Gorman collab with Agath Singer. I don't know if I've said that right or if that's even the correct pronunciation. That ended up selling for $60 on an offer. Out the door pretty quick, that one. Definitely a nice pattern in the Gorman. So that stuff doesn't last very long at all. Here's a little bit of a lower end brand, Lula Soul. I think Jazz picked this up for a couple bucks at Savers, or it might have been in another op shop that we went to, and I think we ended up taking $25 on an offer for this one, and all of this is plus postage as well, so that's not incorporated in that price point. So Lula Soul can be a really good brand if you find the right stuff. It is probably a lower end brand in most cases, but the sell-through on Lulu Soul is okay. If you guys have been watching the channel, you may have seen us pick these Tommy Bahama pants up from one of our favorite op shops up in the hills, and this one did not last very long at all. They ended up selling for $49.95 plus postage, so happy to get some Tommy Bahama stuff. Obviously general Tommy Bahama stuff has probably dropped off a little bit, but stuff like this and their silk shirts still sell for pretty decent money. Our next piece here is an R.M. Williams blazer. We love R.M. Williams. We find it quite a lot down here in South Australia because we used to have the factory down here. So we ended up taking off on this one for $65 plus the postage, out the door pretty quickly, and in a time of year that generally you wouldn't think your jackets would be selling. So happy to get that one out the door. We've got a couple more of those International Rules jerseys that we picked up from Salvo's probably a couple months ago. We got this massive stack of them, and this one ended up selling on offer for $55, and I think the same buyer actually bought this one here for $65 as well in a bundle plus postage, so happy to get them out the door. We've sort of paid between $10 and $13 for these depending on the piece, so very happy with that one. Next up, I'm going to butcher this brand. It's either Chic or Shrike. I don't know which way it's pronounced, but I love finding this brand. We ended up taking an offer of $45 plus post on this one. Out the door pretty quickly. That pattern on the front definitely helped this piece here. You can see it's a larger size, which probably helped as well. Size 16, but beautiful pattern, floral, and a really nice style, which definitely helped it. All right, here's a brand that I don't have a lot of knowledge on, but Jazzy picked this one up. It is a Luby's Story. She paid $6.99 for it and ended up selling for $30 plus postage pretty quickly. So one of those kind of like unique brands that you may see out in the thrift. There is the label just there. And yeah, it ended up being a pretty quick flip, so happy to take those lower profit on some of these items. This is probably my favorite sale from this whole section. We ended up picking up this H-Bar C for $7.60, and it was in one of our original videos for this whole trash to travel adventure, and it did take some time to sell, but we ended up taking an offer of $170 on this brand. So I just want to show you this little logo to be keeping an eye out for. The made in USA ones are definitely the better quality ones, and also if they have like fringes and patterns like this one here, they will generally command a higher price. We have sold some lesser valuable ones for around the $50 to $80 mark, but H-Bar-C is definitely a great Western brand that doesn't get talked about a lot. Alright, a little Australian team, SMS Santini, a great cycling brand as I said just before. We ended up selling this for $60 including postage. Definitely keep an eye out for SMS Santini, especially these zip up jackets, the cycling jerseys will tend to sell for some pretty decent money, so happy to get that one out the door for trash to travel. You know this brand, we've talked about it a few times, it is Rolly. This is a brand that we love picking up, and this ended up selling on $40 on an offer. They actually bundled up a couple other things with it as well, so it kind of made the price a little bit better. Paid postage on top and out the door pretty quickly, considering we paid $8.39 for these. Oh, and here is a really cool one. We found this up in the hills, this Honey Birdette Fox bra. This one was pre-owned, so you can sell bras in pre-owned condition. Obviously you want to make sure that they're nice and clean, but Honey Birdette is a great brand, and if you've seen our store, we have a lot of this sort of stock going up at the moment that we're doing on commission. So Honey Birdette is one to be keeping an eye out for. Happy to get that out the door. I think we ended up taking $60 on this on an offer, but we only paid $3, so absolutely stoked with that one, and happy to get some of this stuff out the door so we can start traveling more on that travel map. All right, let's go through some quick numbers before we head out and show you what we're actually up to in the van and where we are going to be heading next with that build. So we started this episode with $3,724.77 in the kitty. With all these sales combined, we made $960.82, taking our total to $4,685.59. Now, obviously, we do pay fees on all of our sales. So the fees for the sales of $960.82 was $212.37, bringing our total down to $4,473.22, which is an extra 784 kilometers on the scratch map. And we actually haven't updated it since last time, so Jazz is going to have some fun scratching some serious kilometers off the scratch map in the warehouse.
Before we get to talking about our failed dreams, we also want to let you know that we have a really exclusive line dropping over on Stockbox. This is limited, so when it sells out, it sells out. But it's brand new with tags, women's clothing for $5 per piece. We have boxes that are 60 pieces, and we also have boxes that have 70 pieces. In each of these boxes, you will find brands like Only, Vero Motor, Primrose the Label, Lioness, Boohoo, and Vigorella. There'll be some other brands mixed in there too, but they're all going to be pretty similar. Now we're done with that, let's get back to our failed dreams. Those who have been around this channel for a while, you will remember that we bought this beautiful Sprinter and we declared that we are turning her into a motorhome and we're traveling Australia.
Well, things haven't exactly gone to plan.
Things rarely do go to plan around here, to be honest. Let me show you where we got up to with our van, why it has stalled, and what still needs to be done. If you were following along with our van conversion when it was going strong, the last thing you would have seen us do is install our beautiful roof, which I'm still absolutely obsessed with. Our walls and window trimmings had a fresh coat of paint and she was looking so schmick. Since then, we have installed our amazing pantry, which has some no gaps in it. And we have our rubbish bin, which actually has some rubbish in it at the moment, in use.
But apart from that, we haven't done much at all on this van, and there are a few reasons for that. But the main one is we are using this as our work van at the moment. Every single week we're filling this up with clothing and other stock that we pick up from our suppliers. So without some other vehicle, we can't afford to actually build out this van right now.
So guess what we're saying is that the dream is definitely not dead, but it has been delayed. I do get a little bit emotional every time I accidentally chip a windowsill or leave a mark on the wall, but in reality, we are only one fresh coat of paint away. Oh, and we have to show you all the other things that we haven't put in here yet. Our postman just pulled up and he said, "Oh, you guys working on your van? I haven't seen you work on that in about a year. I thought you'd be done." No, we're not done. But we have made the framework for our cabinets. This would eventually be our kitchen bench with our sink in it. We have the framing for one of our chairs. We also have our fridge and our compost toilet sitting in boxes in the house. So many of the puzzle pieces are ready to put together, but until we have another work vehicle, this is just on hold.
So I guess we hope this video has answered some of those questions you guys have had about us, our business, and all the travel that we're going to try and do in the future.
As tricky as it is to run a business and also have that freedom and travel, we are definitely not giving up on the dream, and we're putting steps in place, even though we're not sure exactly how it's going to look.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult, but we're still working towards that, guys. So thanks for being here. We really appreciate your help. Glad to get the Trash to Travel update done and dusted, and we'll see you next time on Twelsy Thrifters. Bye for now.